What's going on, guys? Today we are going to talk about Battlefront 2 and EA specifically in the end, and how we as a gaming community need to be careful about this game specifically. And we'll get into that and what's going on there. But if you enjoy the content, subscribe as per usual. But yes, let's jump into it. We'll talk about Battlefront 2 first. Now, Battlefront 2, if you haven't seen it by now, is visually stunning, and the gameplay is pretty great. If you've played it, the gameplay, it feels nice, it works nice, the maps are really nice, and the game modes are quite well done. Starfighter Assault is so good, I can't even tell you. If you haven't played it, you need to just play it. Watching it won't do it justice. You need to feel that and play that. But there are bad things, and we're going to talk about them. Loot boxes, for one, are not great. We're at this point where it's pretty much pay to win. If you've seen videos where you can drop $100 and you can get, 74 crates, 3 or 4 star cards a crate, and you're set. Now, it takes the rest of us a really long time to get to that point. If you were to buy $100 now worth of crates per se, you'd have a significant advantage, and you'd have all those loot crates and all those star cards and everything like that, and the average gamer would take months to catch up, which is crazy ridiculous. Now, there have been complaints to EA, to DICE, the developers and whatnot, and they've heard the backlash. It's been pretty bad, and they've, as of recently, changed some things where they've brought down the time or the amount of credits it takes to get a hero or crafting parts or whatever, the amount of time it takes to get one of those heroes by 75% across the board, which is pretty telling to me. That's a huge drop off to not see. I mean, they've changed from the beta, and then they've changed from the pre-access stage that we're in right now. The game comes out in a day or two on Friday, and that's a huge jump, 75%, and they're ready to just cut it like that. And that's kind of telling to me, which means I personally think they were ready for this. I think they were ready for this. But 75% they've cut it, and then there's always like a little backhand thing with EA, isn't there? Now they've gone and changed that up a little bit in the way you earn some credits or crafting parts or whatever. And from the campaign, you used to get 20,000. Now you get 5,000. Now they say it was so you can unlock the game's protagonist item in multiplayer or whatever. But I believe, to me, I think what happened was 20,000 credits isn't that much before 75%, and I don't think they figured it would be too big of a deal to let it just sit. But then it became 75% off. Now heroes like Luke and Vader are 20,000 credits, and now it's like, oh, all you have to do is play the campaign, which isn't overly long, 5 or 6 hours. I believe it's between 5 and 8 hours or something like that. And then you go ahead and get your 20,000 credits, and now you get a full character. And I think that scared them a little bit, so they knocked it down to 5,000 and just came out and said it was for Aiden. I believe if it really was for Aiden, they wouldn't have given you any credits to begin with. They would just give you Aiden. I think that would be the whole point. If they say the credits are for Aiden, which they did, that they believe the credits were for Aiden, then why didn't they just give you Aiden? You have to know that other people are not going to use it on Aiden. Maybe they want a guy with a lightsaber. I mean, they got plenty of tough guys that have guns that you can play and not have to unlock. I don't want a guy with a lightsaber. I want Luke. I want Vader. I want the iconic people from the series. But instead, they give you Aiden, and they want to give you Aiden. I feel like if you beat the campaign, they should have just given you Aiden and no credits, and that would have been that. That would have been so much easier, and that would have avoided some of the things they've done. And then what they've also done to backhand the credit earning is arcade mode. You can only earn a certain amount per day, and it's not overly high but you can play arcade mode for how long you play arcade mode, and then you have to wait until the next reset point. I've seen some differing reports. I haven't tried it myself, but I've seen some differing reports that if you get to a point, then you have to wait 3 hours before you earn credits, or you have to wait till the next reset point, which is the next day. I don't know which one is actually accurate, but you still have to wait minimum 3 hours to earn more credits in just playing the game. You're playing the game, and they stop you earning anything from playing the game. You're playing the game and they don't want you to gain any credits from playing the game. It's as if... Well, it's not as if. They want you to continuously play this game. They feel like this is a 2-year game, that for 2 years they can suck at... I mean, if you played this as a full-time job, you wouldn't get everything by the end of the year. Or by the end of a full year. Which is absolutely crazy. Crazy. And EA are always out saying that we're working on things. Thank you for your feedback. I mean, that's always how it is. The Reddit post that was talking about it, I'll leave a link in the description, was the most downvoted Reddit post on ever on Reddit, which it was at like 700,000 last time I looked, and it definitely beat out the most downvoted one before. That was like 24,000, and it was just somebody trying to gain downvotes, see how many downvotes you could actually get, and he got like 25,000. We're at 700,000. 700,000 people went here and downvoted this. 700,000 people understand that this is ridiculous. And it's a real shame, really, because this game could have been really good. I mean, if the progression system was normal, even if it were Call of Duty-like, which is not always optimal, even if it were just Call of Duty-like, you level up and you get guns and you get different things depending on how often you use a gun, and star cards depending on how you use a gun, whatever it may be, that would have been fine. But everything is so RNG, and you gotta use your credits that you build up, and you might get something, you might not. You might just get crafting parts this, you might get a star card for something you're never ever going to use. If you're never going to use heavy, then you get you get 3 crates in a row with star cards for heavy, and you're like, what in the world am I going to do with these? It's nothing. Everything is just random, and it's an absolute shame that they've actually done this. But we'll get into what this video is mainly about, and which is EA. And the title of the video, as you can see, don't fall for EA's trap. Don't fall for this bullshit. And that's what it is to me. I think, personally, that this game was a huge controlled test to see how far we could go further into microtransactions. Can we make microtransactions the future of gaming? Can this model be the future of gaming? And it's good that we've had the backlash that we've had, and it's insanely important. I cannot stress this enough. It is insanely important to continue saying that this is that this isn't good. That you need to go out and tell them. You need to go out, Twitter, Reddit, whatever, and protest against this, because they think that this is the future. This microtransactions thing. Now, we were always worried that microtransactions would turn into something like this, but EA, and it was kind of slowly building there, and everyone could really see it, but EA kind of took it and was like, this is the new model, and here, we're going to shove it here and see how everybody reacts, and see where we can find the middle ground. I think that's what this whole game is about. It's a shooter that's pretty widely recognized. Star Wars is something that almost everybody recognizes. People who don't play shooters might come out and get this game. People who play shooters are going to come out and get this game. People who just love Star Wars are going to come out and get this game. It hits a wide variety of people. So when you hit a huge audience like that, not necessarily in number, but in variety, then you have a subject that you can test throughout. And you have a subject that you can test throughout with different people, different lifestyles, different everything. Everything is so I I can't think of the word. There's so much variety in the amount of people that are playing this that it really helps them get a better set of data. Now, test-wise, we've hit it. The loot boxes right off the bat is just the whole thing. It's pay to win. They want you to put money into it. They want you to grind forever to get this. That's why it started so high. Everything started so high, 60,000 credits to unlock people that should be in the game. This is a Star Wars game, and you're unlocking, or you have to play 40 hours. You have to make this your full-time job for 2 weeks to unlock Skywalker and Vader, which are two icons in this series. Half the movies are based around these two characters. And they're making 80 hours worth, pretty much, that you have to come out and get these guys. 80 hours to unlock people who should just be there to use. And from the way we started at 80,000, they wanted, or there's 120,000 credits, I think, total the way it started. That's what they wanted, right? They wanted you to put all your time into this game. If you're not going to put all your time into this game and you're not going to keep playing their game, they want the money out of you before they play the game. Now, EA has been doing this forever. EA always does this. But this is a new model, to me, at least. This is something new that they're... If this succeeds, it'll be in almost every game from here on out. And that'll be it. That'll be it. We've gone into that dark hole none of us ever wanted to go into. And it's because of this. This is the test right here. It's one big test. Everything's a microtransaction. If you're not grinding, you're paying. If you're not on the game for 3 weeks and they don't have you engaged in playing the game, obviously every developer, every publisher wants you playing the game. If they don't, they'll trade your 3 weeks for $100 every single time. Every single time. And $100 gets you way more than 3 weeks will get. If you got $100 worth, you got 2 or 3 months for someone else. Someone who's not going to pay, who wants to unlock tons of stuff and do everything optimal the way they want. It's going to take months and months, or they'll take your money. Either or. They've already got your $60 or $80, depending on which version you bought. But then you get the extra $100 for however many people. Plenty of people are going to pay $100. I mean, there's a setting in here for $100. You can put straight up $100 in here and get your loot crates. It gives you an option to buy $100 worth of loot crates. It's just unbelievable. EA's, as we said, EA has, in my opinion, zero interest in fixing this game. Loot boxes, whatever it may be. Well, loot boxes, that's the thing they need fixing, and they are not going to fix that. They may talk about it and say, we'll take some things out, or they may take a thing or two out. They'll never take star cards out of loot boxes. They never will. And they're just going to go and try and pour water on this fire until it's contained. And once the fire is contained, then they try little things here, try little things there. They tried this big thing here. They came in with a flamethrower and just lit the whole room on fire. And now they're trying to contain it to a point where they're happy with the money they've made, and you're happy with the game you have. And unfortunately, when we're happy with the game we have and there's not as many complaints, they're outside their circle where they want to be. They're outside and they've gotten more than they feel like they're going to get, or they felt like they were going to get, or they wanted to get, their goal, whatever it may be. If we keep complaining, hopefully we'll make that fire smaller, right? We want the contained fire to be non-existent, obviously. We just want the game, and we want to play the game without paying extra money just to have it. But that probably won't happen, especially with EA. I mean, Madden, FIFA games, They do nothing outside of Ultimate Team. They don't innovate anything. Nothing gets changed. When was the last time something got changed in franchise mode in Madden? When was the last time something got changed in there? It's been ages. It's been ages. They don't care anymore outside of Ultimate Team, because Ultimate Team gets you the money. And there are tons of people out there who spend tons and tons and tons of money. I don't have figures on how many people have spent what. I remember reading about a guy who worked on Mass Effect Andromeda. Someone had spent $15,000 by themselves on the cards they had in Mass Effect Andromeda. $15,000 they had spent, which spend your money however you want. But in Madden, you can watch a YouTuber. You can watch a YouTuber open, or FIFA. They open $2,000 worth of, especially in FIFA, because you get nothing out of FIFA packs. FIFA packs are absolutely useless. And the only way you're going to get anything is to continuously pour money into FIFA. That's why I don't play FIFA Ultimate Team. You can't. There's nothing to gain from FIFA Ultimate Team. Everything is pouring money in. But you can watch a YouTuber open $2,000 or $3,000 worth of packs at a time. They could open, by the end of the year, if you went back and counted how many videos they had and they did $1,000 for a video, it'd be more than 15 grand. EA know that. On Madden, happens all the time. You buy a bundle, you buy a bundle. Bundles are like 70, 80 bucks sometimes. And buy a bundle, buy a bundle. And then they'll go onto a different account and buy a bundle. Continuously buy packs on streams. It's amazing the amount of money that EA make on that sort of thing. But that's the problem. That's obviously the problem. Because when we, as consumers, continuously buy into that nonsense, then they're going to keep doing it. It's been 3 or 4 years since anything on Madden or FIFA has been innovated outside of Ultimate Team. Ultimate Teams have gotten to a point where you can't play. I mean, you can, but you're going to be so far behind if you don't spend a significant amount of money. A significant amount of money on a game you've already spent $60 for. Most of us can't afford that. Most of us can't afford to buy a bundle every 3 days in Madden for $60. Most of us can't afford that stuff. It's crazy. And we all know microtransactions are just here to stay. I know people are like, you don't buy them. That's not going to work. You could have everybody stop except YouTubers and they'd be fine. Even YouTubers, who, especially on EA games, who just buy packs and do pack openings for Madden and FIFA, they make the money alone. If somebody bought $60 a day, or $60, I mean, a Madden YouTuber can buy, let's say, 4 bundles every time a bundle came out. That's 4 people they could afford to lose, not paying $60 for the game, for that one bundle. And then 3 days later, another one comes out, and another one comes out 3 days later. And you get a week, and now we have 12 people they can afford to just get rid of from this one guy who buys 4 bundles. And there are plenty of them on YouTube. Just YouTube alone could really, I mean, really put a damage or put a dent in the player base. If a player left for every YouTuber who bought a bundle, one bundle, and somebody stopped buying the game, that's a ton of people that would be off this game. But they're still making their money, you see, which is the problem. Microtransactions are here to stay. I believe the company, what's the company? I have it here. Take-Two. They say all their games from here on out are going to be microtransactions. We're getting into a dangerous area. That's why backlash on this game is so important. So important. Because we already have the microtransaction model that's working, right? Microtransactions in all games. It started in a couple games here and there. Now it's in all games. But this model here for Battlefront 2 is so dangerous. It's so dangerous. You're going to pay $60 for a game, and if this model becomes the new norm, you're going to be paying $60 and then a bunch of money just to keep up in every game you have. No, not too many people can afford to do that. Not too many people can afford to do that. You just can't. Every time you play a game, you're making a commitment to pay $200 for a game, whether it takes a year or two, whatever, with this model. Or you can just pick a game and grind completely into that game, and then eventually you'll get everything you need or everything you want. But you can't, like Destiny, you can continue grinding in. Destiny 1 at least. Destiny 2, there's an ending pretty much now. You don't have to grind anymore, but those games are built for the grind. They're built to grind. Battlefront 2, if you're not paying for it, is built for the really long grind. It'll take you like 4 months to get where you want. Games now are built on this model where if you're not paying for it, they want you around a really long time. So at some point, to experience a game fully, if this model goes through, you're just going to need to pick a game. You're going to buy 4 games a year, and that'll be that. To get to the point you want to be in these 4 games, it's going to take you the whole year. It'll take you the whole year to get where you want to be in 4 games with this model. With this model. And even now you see some dangerous practices happening. Activision just had that patent on a matchmaking system specifically tailored to microtransactions. In something like Destiny, where if or any shooter game, you were to buy a gun, they put you in a game. The gun is like overpowered for a few games, so they make you feel like you've got a really good purchase here. Maybe I'll go back and buy the next one that comes out. And then you get put in with games with people who haven't bought anything, and then you kill them a bunch of times, and they're like, oh, maybe I'll buy the gun because that thing is killing me over and over and over again. It's matchmaking that's tailored to microtransactions. And that's just a patent that came out. It's starting to get to a really, really bad place. Really bad place. If this it's just disheartening, really, to talk about something like this, because not because I dislike the video game or anything. I really think outside of the loot boxes, this is a really good game. It's disheartening to know that this is where we're at. That this is where we are in gaming, and this is what this has become. And games aren't like old games anymore on the N64 where you got a full experience, or the Xbox or original Xbox where you got a full experience out of a $60 game. Full experiences out of video games now, it's really expensive. It's really, really expensive. And I see this argument a lot. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Don't play it. And that excuse, if you want to call it that, cannot work for this game. It is so important that the people who do buy this game, I've bought it, the people who do buy this game speak their minds to try and fight back against what this game was supposed to be, and continue to fight back on what the problems are in this game, because it's so imperative that this model doesn't get out. It's so imperative that this model doesn't go anywhere. I was playing Need for Speed, and even that had calling cards in it, or cards in it. You're opening things to get a better acceleration and think, what? In a Need for Speed game, this is about racing. All I want to do is race. And now everything's RNG. I can buy more. It's so important that microtransactions stop right here. And this model does not ever leave this game. It is so important. And I urge everybody who plays this game to go out to Reddit or Twitter or whatever it may be when there's an issue and tell them about it. Even just add fuel to the fire. What happened on Reddit was, what's been happening on Reddit and Twitter has changed some things in the game. Now, I believe that those changes were ready-made to be changed, but that's not the point. The point is that we spoke up and things got done. Not great things, because the loot box thing is still a problem. But even little things like how many credits it takes to open a character. It's so important that this happens. So important that we get out there and speak our minds. So important that this model doesn't leave this game. And it's so important that as gamers, we come together and push back against greedy people. Greedy publishing companies. So important. But I think that's all I have to say, really, on this. As I said, if you enjoy the content, I do a bunch of different stuff on this channel. If you enjoyed the content, subscribe. Just keep in mind when you're playing Star Wars, because I know a lot of you have bought it. Just keep in mind some of the things I've said and some of the practices that have been happening, and just do what you can to push back if something isn't right. I don't want you to just go and tell EA off. There were some people receiving death threats and stuff. That is nonsense. That's so ridiculous. It makes our credibility so much worse. People who are trying to change the game in a normal, non-violent or not stupid ways, that we just want to go out there and tell them how we feel. Death threats? What the hell are we doing with that? Just go on Reddit or Twitter, upvote some things that are important, retweet some stuff if you have to. If you see a problem that's game breaking, it's imperative that we get it out there. Follow me on Twitter. I got my Twitter in the description below. But yeah, guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more. Peace.